The USS Monavine is having a spot of engine trouble. Agimus launched a bunch of red aliens into 100 Years' War. And I don't get what all the negativity is about. Everybody loves black licorice, right?
Oh, gosh.
I do.
Yeah.
I love black licorice.
Me too. It's the black jelly beans, black licorice, black cats, whatever. Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Seventh Rule with Sirach Lofton, by the way.
Who hates black licorice?
What? We are joined by the most special of all guests, Mr. Jeffrey Combs, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. No, stop, please. Stop.
Legendary.
The greatest of all greats. My name is Ryan T. Husk, and I am extremely excited about this. So let's just get right into it. This is Lower Decks Season 2, Episode 7, Where Pleasant Fountains Lie. And Jeff Combs, you just continue to blow us all away. The fans were super excited when they heard the announcement that you were going to be in this episode. And I personally was super excited every time that little black and red box started speaking, and I got to picture Jeff Combs's face making all these hilarious sounds and funny lines.
Yes. I've had to keep my mouth shut for a long time about this. I did it maybe, months ago. And zippy NDAs, can't say anything. But it's there, and I turned out really well. I got a screener. I don't have access to Paramount Plus, that platform. And maybe I should. And so I just really enjoyed it. You never know with these things. You go into, it's really different now with voiceover stuff. The protocols are really safe, and it's actually the safest because there's like nobody around. You literally walk from your car with a mask into a room, HEPA filter going. Nobody's in there. Everybody's behind glass or on a Zoom screen that you can look at, and it's just you. And that's safe, but it's not optimum for voiceover because a lot of the time those are there's a group of actors and you're bouncing off of each other. Acting is reacting, and it's like you're kind of in a little imaginary bubble of how are they saying that? I have no idea. What's the tone of this thing? I don't know. Well, are they tongue-in-cheek here? Or are they taking this? I just don't know. So a lot of just like flying by the seat of your pants with this stuff. Turned out great though. I was really happy with that I sort of it's kind of like music. It's like, oh yeah, okay. I found the key. I found the key they were in. Okay, good. I fit in, sort of.
Oh, you fit in all right. You've always fit in, and not just fit in, but been exceptional and shined brilliantly from your body of work, and all of your contribution to Star Trek, I think, has been phenomenal. And Ryan and I are rewatching Deep Space Nine, so we get to see you as Wei-Yun. We've seen you as Brunt.
It's an embarrassment of riches. Have you seen In the Cards yet, Sirach? That's one that we did together. In the Cards.
Yeah, and we also did Far Beyond the Stars together, which you got to play a non-makeup actor, which is great.
I know, for a day. I didn't have a 4:00 call in the morning. Wow. You remember that was like all night. That was a night shoot, man, on the back lot of New York, just hanging out. We were in heaven though, and Avery was never better as a director than on that episode. That's one of my favorites of all of Star Trek. It is transcendent, and because of Avery and his performance in front and behind the camera, he was just phenomenal.
Yeah, I agree. The script also brought out the best of all of our performance because it just allowed us to kind of be these characters.
Oh, you were great in that. You were just this street kid who just you were at the mercy of your conditions. You were doing the best with what you had, with the opportunities afforded you. it was one of those potential lost situations, heartbreaking. Just
Yeah.
really one of the things that turned Avery's character, just flipped him. It's great episode all around. So very proud of being part of Deep Space Nine. You have no idea.
Well, we really hope to have you back sometime to do an episode or 10 of Deep Space Nine with us, because as Sirach mentioned, we are blown away every single time we see you. I mean, well, we could talk about it more another time, but needless to say, when Sirach and I are watching you, we're very impressed. And as you know, I'm sure you know, the fans are constantly clamoring for you and about you. And in this episode today, everybody has been at a frenzy because they've seen your previous work as Wayun, as Brunt, as Shran, as the guy on Voyager whose name I don't remember.
What was his name? Pank.
Pank. Right.
Not Pink.
How could I forget?
Well, it's easy.
Breadcrumbs. But so anyway, when you mentioned, trying to meet the tone, obviously that's nearly impossible to meet the tone if you're just talking basically to yourself. It sounds nearly impossible. Did you go in with an idea of exactly what you wanted to do and you just kind of did that 10 times? Was there a director saying, try it like this or try it like that? Or did you just give every line in a few different zany or wacky or creepy or excited ways and let them pick what they wanted?
I'd say a kind of a combination of that. You kind of go in with like, I think I'm going to try this, but I got to stay open because maybe that's not what they want. You got to kind of go by the script. You read it, and you get sort of the vibe of the piece. What I loved about Lower Decks is it's just sort of this rapid fire patter, real fast. Sometimes the jokes are past you before you go, wait, what? But we're on to the next one here. It's very, very clever that way, witty, very sort of quick banter. So I just kind of, okay, that's what they're doing. That's what I'm going to do. And it didn't make any sense to me to do anything else. I got some direction from them, but I think pretty much they kind of felt like I was sort of definitely in the ballpark with what I came with. And I did like, I'll give you 3 of that one. I'll give you 3 versions of that line, and sometimes all 3 were basically not much different, but then sometimes it was, and so I gave them options, I guess. What they went with, I thought was pretty much what I was kind of going for myself. So I'm really happy with that.
Sometimes we see actors and they're playing in these different roles, and you're like, it's the same guy in all these different movies. Like, it's not. There's no change, and you just do the same thing. But with you play all these different parts, and it's like completely different. This personality is so different than this other guy, and how do you get that path?
Yeah, thanks for that. Early on, I was taught versatility would give you a career. But then you come to Hollywood and then you kind of hit this wall of, oh, wait a minute, they just want that thing that they know that I do. Like, think about it, like sitcom actors. Some sitcom actors are really good actors, but they're stuck with this stigma of, oh, you do sitcoms. So if we need you for a sitcom, we'll call you. And it's sort of a categorization that we always, as actors, have to fight against, like, no, wait a minute. I'll tell you, Star Trek allowed me to tap into the ability to be versatile with the the production value around me. I can't do this without Bob Blackman, the wardrobe guy. I can't do this without Mike Westmore. I simply cannot do it without that kind of top drawer support. It's a team, and that's what's so great about it's a lot harder to try to delineate a character when, let's say, you're on a lower budget independent film, and you got some ideas, and they go, yeah, but we don't have the budget for that, and you go, well, okay, right, moving on to plan B. So I just, without that support, I really couldn't be able to do it. Now with this one, I didn't have that stuff. It's just vocally, I wanted to make sure it didn't sound like Wayun, and it didn't sound like Shran. It wouldn't sound like Brett, not without teeth in my mouth. So, Brett, FCA. So, so I just sort of tried to find, something that was tonally right. Fast talking BS artist.
Well, what it is about you, Jeff, when I'm watching you or when I'm listening to you, or what I expected when it was announced that you were going to play, a character on the show, you don't take any lines off. You don't take any words off. Every single line is delivered in a new and fresh and interesting way that most people would not come up with or imagine or do. I mean, even when like when there's the pause in the episode, blueberry muffins, he says stop, and you go guacamole, or I'm not even going to try to do the way you said it. I listened to it. I went back and listened to it 5 times. I'm like, only Jeff Combs could say guacamole 5 times, or so funny that I could hear it 5 times and laugh every time.
I know. I thank you for that. I appreciate it. It starts with kind of clever writing. You can tell right away with that. Well, this is going to fairly fly along, and just jump in and play. I love that word. It has a newer, more modern connotation, but actors back in Shakespeare's time were not called actors. That word didn't even exist. They were players. I really like that word, players, because that's what you do with acting. You're playing. There's a connotation of fun there, and actors just seems to take itself so seriously. Now, player is doesn't mean that at all anymore. It means something else completely different, and that's words change, meanings of words change.
Yeah, I've always thought the utmost respect for you. You've always been just a consummate professional, always prepared. Just a pleasure to be around. And I think that's why you've had such a long career as well, not just your talent, but because of your personality. It was so fun to talk to and be around, and so quick-witted. So you just pick up on so many things all the time.
Well, thank you, Sirach. I have golden memories of being on set and hanging with you guys. You and Aaron, you were always seemed to be teamed up there whenever I was around, and I just was like, oh, good, I get to play with the boys, because you were boys-ish. You were a young man. I'm sure you were doing very adult things at that time, but but it was a real joy to be with you guys. We had we still do. We have I think of it as a family. Deep Space Nine, and the cast, and the bench. That's the way I think of all the supporting actors. Like, we need a hit. Andy, grab a bat. Or Casey, you're up at bat. Jeff, you're on deck. Okay. So meanwhile, you guys were at home by the pool, enjoying yourself.
I don't know about that. I had a lot of work to do. But this is like your 8th or 7th or 8th different character, and I think you have to be on top of the list of most characters played.
Don't do that to Vaughn Armstrong. Vaughn Armstrong has done 12 different
12
characters.
Okay.
But they weren't all of them were not like recurring. They were like oneers, but
Okay.
still all kinds of different aliens, and from humans to Klingons to Cardassians to that guy, what can you say?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
That's what was so great about Deep Space Nine, the deep bench.
Yeah. Is this the first time you've played a robot or a computer?
Yeah. Yes, it is the first time that I've played an evil computer. And, people have been asking me that have been interviewing me, what's it like to play yet another evil computer in the Star Trek realm? And I'm going, oh, wait, there were other evil computers? I guess there were. I guess so. Did you do any research on that? Like, no, I did not. I did not. This is a completely different kind of evil computer. I didn't play him evil. I just played him desperately charming to try to get somebody just plug him in. Hey, I have an idea. It's kind of pathetic. It's kind of pathetic, but funny.
Jeff,
It was.
I don't believe you do. Have you done a lot of voiceover gigs? Because you really obviously your voice and your talents lend themselves to decades of future voiceover work.
I have done quite a bit. Way back, I got a call from my regular agents, my theatrical agents, for an inquiry about a voiceover, and I did Scarecrow in a Batman.
Wow.
People still talk about that one. I was like, really?
Yeah.
And then a little while later, the same thing happened again with Justice League Unlimited, which was a wonderful animated series. And I played The Question. And people really loved what I did with The Question. I've done Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I've done Scooby-Doo. And I was like a series regular for 3 years on Transformers Prime. So I played Ratchet.
I knew that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so let me tell you, that was going to school. Being in a room with the great Frank Welker and Peter Cullen standing right next to me, and all of these other primo voiceover actors in that room. It was really great. So I've done my share of voiceover, but I'm not the most versatile vocally. I mean, literally, there are people that can play 4 roles and you wouldn't know it. And I'm just, that's maybe not me. But it's a skill set. It's a whole other lane that you really have to learn the ins and outs of. But yeah, I've done some. I'd like to continue to do it, because you know what? You don't have to get up at 4:30 in the morning. You don't really have to learn the lines. You just have to familiarize yourself with the lines. Yeah. And you're done in 4 hours. Thank you. Bye-bye. Oh, okay.
What a deal.
I know.
You can wear sweatpants. You can be comfortable.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't mean it's not challenging. It certainly has its own responsibilities. It is really hard to focus everything about your character into a vocal choice. Sort of like, oh boy, everything's got to come this way, no other way.
I have a question now. When you're recording this stuff, is the animated part of it already done, or are you watching the stuff and like putting a voice over it? Or
no.
Okay.
No, usually no.
Okay.
Sometimes they'll give you a visual reference, like this is what your character looks like, and they'll put up a drawing. Okay. They maybe gave you a description of the character, like kind of like they do with sides, Sirach, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But you only get to see the visuals when it comes to, let's say, when you have to do ADR looping, little things like after it's created, then you do get to see some stuff. But you've already done your work at that point. It's like you're just fitting in stuff. So no, you don't really get a lot of. And as far as the evil computer, what are they going to show me? a box with a red light on it.
That's what I was laughing about when Zarog asked that question, as if you were going to say, I'm having problems really harnessing this. And can I have a visual reference? And they go, sure, here it is, a black box. Okay.
I know what I was going to do, but now I do that I've seen this red box. He doesn't know. It wouldn't have helped me very much. It was, unfortunately, it was all on the page. It really was. It was just, well written, witty dialogue.
So Jeff, when you saw the screener, presuming you did, and you saw the final product, was there one line in particular that you thought that's my best line, or that you're most proud of, that made yourself laugh, or you were just impressed by yourself yet again?
Well, I was trying to find variations on the same thing here, with like trying to talk these people into just plugging me in. I can help. And on one line, I chose to whisper it. Just plug me in, and the world will be yours. Or I don't remember what the line was, but it was kind of like, I'm gonna try whispering in their ear. That'll get them to, I kind of like that choice. It's kind of, everything's so fast. It kind of reminded me of a Warner Brothers Bugs Bunny cartoon. It was just so like, whoa, wait, what? When you're a kid, some of those jokes go right over your head. Then later you go, oh, right. That's an adult joke. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty clever. I really like Lower Decks. I've only seen snippets, so the screener was the first full episode.
Yeah. As Ryan and I review the show, we say that they pack so much stuff into this 25 minutes animated series that it's like the notes for it are just as long or longer than the notes of the full hour-long shows they review.
And I'd also say that they do that on purpose, I think, because we all know that the pace of Star Trek and the tone of Star Trek is a little more serious a lot of the time, and it's sort of reality. Even though it's sci-fi fantasy, it is sort of based in human modes of conversation. Mm-hmm. This one's like amped. It's really almost like, it's not a farce, but it's really at a different pace, and it's refreshing. Mm-hmm. Kind of shakes up the whole Star Trek universe with a completely different attack. I liked it.
Jeff, obviously your character is not dead. That little black box is locked away. And by the way, shout out to the Daystrom Institute. That was really cool that they said that.
Yes.
So they've left the door open for your character coming back, possibly. I'm sure that may not have been something that they discussed, but have you considered that maybe you'll be getting a call in the future to reprise that role, or maybe another one? And how quickly would you say yes?
Well, let me think about it. Yes. I had a really good time. It's who wouldn't want to do that again, especially the way it turned out. So I'm here. I'd look forward to it, and I'm happy the fans are happy. I'm happy they're happy. It's good. It's good to be back working in the Star Trek realm. A lot of it is gone to another country, and it sort of keeps us marginalized. So there's a little bit of frustration for all of us. All of us that live here on the left coast. It's like, wait, what? Wait, hey. What are we? Chopped liver here? It seems strange. It's kind of like your cousin took over the business. It's like, hey. I mean, I love those shows, but they're just different. They're a completely different approach, and they're a completely different geography. Completely different pool of actors, completely different crew. It is another quadrant.
Do you feel like Lower Decks is a little bit more recognizable to you, to the old Star Trek, than the others?
Yes, in some ways, just because it's so whack, swashbuckly. The original series, everybody was, some of those sets were pretty cheesy, but you went with it. And what really sold it was just the outrageous commitment of those actors. No, this pack, I don't know my lines. But explain.
That was a pretty good Janeway, by the way.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I know. So, it's got some of that to it, kind of a swagger about it, and I really like that. Sometimes some iterations of Star Trek can take itself a little too seriously, and I like the spice. I like the spice because they're leaning into this stuff, and I really like that.
Yeah, you mentioned that. I mean, I think you brought it up when you said that the terminology of actor versus player. And when I watch you perform, I do sense the playfulness that you have with these characters. I feel like you're having fun. I feel like you're playing with them.
Yeah. I am.
Yeah.
And I am. That's the only way to sort of be full of it, be full of life, or shit, but be full of it, commit, go full on. It's boring to lay back. You're here for a reason. And so elevate. Yeah. So can I tell you a story that maybe I've told it before that Avery told me one time when he was directing me, Siraj?
Yeah.
So this is the best director's note I've ever gotten. And it's from Avery. Okay. Mr. Miles Davis of Star Trek. Completely different guy when he's directing than when you're acting with him. I don't know if you ever noticed that, but it was a different hat completely. So I'm doing Brunt, and I had a speech. Action, I do it. Avery gets out of the chair, and he walks up to me, and he goes, "We're going to do another one." And slalom. And he walked away. And I went, slalom? What is that? It was like jazz meets downhill skiing here. It's like slalom. And then it hit me. I know exactly what he means. I know what he means. He means just hit those flags. You know the course. Just put it together and just go. Don't break it up. Go. Let the flags hit your shoulder and go. One word. And I knew what he meant. And that's really an actor knowing how to talk to another actor. It was oblique, but very specific. And I did one more take, and he went, "Yeah, let's go. We're moving on."
Slalom. That's a great one.
So to this day, I say that to myself often before a take or something. Slalom.
Oh, that's great. I love that. Actually, I remember having a conversation with Avery about you, and I said Jeffrey Combs, and he said, "I think it's pronounced Coombs," and I'd like you to clarify that for me. Is it originally pronounced?
Well, there's some.
What's the word?
Yeah, well, Avery is incorrect on that, but not really. There is another version of my name with 2 O's in it, and Brits can't help themselves. Even when they see my name written in print, they say, "Mr. Coombs." And I say, "Well,
okay.
Is there an O on that? Because 2 O's, it's like you comb your hair with 2 combs, But so he's right. There is a version that's Coombs, but I'm not it. So it's
okay.
So
okay.
So you can go back and slap him upside the head.
I don't know about that, but I'll clarify it.
Well, you could tell him slalom. You could just
I'll tell him
be like,
slalom.
by the way, Mr. Combs says slalom.
Slalom. That's right.
He'll be like, I don't remember that at all.
He won't remember that at all. I'm sure he will. Yeah, I'm sure he will.
No, that's a great direction, though. It's funny how just one word. I'm sure it just left you kind of a little puzzled, like what is.
Just like you're doing right now. I went, what the? And then I went, oh, right. Oh, of course. Yeah, I know what you mean. Instead of using 10 words, like, listen, just, this, put it all together and just, let's do another one and just, you got it. You got it. That kind of slalom. It's like, okay. Just the economy, it was priceless.
Well, we just have a minute left before we've got to wrap up for our break, and we know that you have to go, Mr. Combs.
Yeah.
But this has been really great. We do hope you come back and see us some other time when we're reviewing Deep Space Nine, or when we're reviewing your next episode of Lower Decks, or your appearance as a crazy alien in Picard, or all of the things that are coming up soon.
I would love to do it. Anytime you need a filler, let me know. I just have nothing but great memories of all my time in Star Trek, and I really appreciate this. And I'm glad to be sort of back in the saddle, at least in an animated version here. And I hope everybody enjoys the show. And maybe I'll be back, but who knows? That's not my call, as we all know, as actors, right, Sirach? It's kind of like, when are you going to be?
I don't know.
Listen,
you tell me.
You got to be asked to dance. If I got to be asked to dance, excuse me, can I dance? You like to dance? That's it's not up to us.
Yeah.
Why aren't you on? It's like, well, because I'm not a producer. Maybe I don't know. So I appreciate this, guys. Thanks. You made my day here.
And on behalf of all the fans, by the way, yes, we absolutely loved your performance. Star Trek knows how great you are, and Paramount knows how amazing you are, and the producers get it. But the fans have been clamoring and demanding for. I'm sure they were trying to get you onto Strange New Worlds. We're trying to get you on Discovery.
Worlds. I know, and I just kind of laid low and went, look, that's like chances are slim to none, and slim left town, guys. If it were shot here, maybe, but maybe
still might
not.
happen.
Anyway, I appreciate it.
We'll keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah.
We'll keep our fingers crossed. You can never get enough Jeff Combs, and somebody's got to catch Vaughn Armstrong. So you're the closest contender.
Well, he's hearing footsteps. Right?
Yeah.
Hopefully, like the Giants, hearing footsteps with the Dodgers, but maybe we can't seem to.
See, this is where you and I disagree, and I'm very sorry.
Oh, you're a Giants fan?
Yeah, Lolita and I were talking some jive about you a couple of days ago with the Dodgers hat. But
listen, I can appreciate it. I have, I grew up on the Central Coast. Okay. On the coast, central meaning halfway between San Francisco and LA, and so half of my friends were Giants fans to this day, and we give each other. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to.
That's
give
the
each
rule.
Other. That's the rule, and that's what being a fan is all about. But this has been an extraordinary year with them. It's been very civil, actually. There's not a lot of trash talk going on because we're trying to catch and they're looking over their shoulder trying to stay ahead. It's a tight one, and that's the way it should be.
I guess I should have worn orange instead of blue today, but whatever.
Either way, we'll see you in the playoffs.
Yes.
Either way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we could talk baseball forever. Srock and I are always talking basketball, but everybody else is like, we don't care. We just want to hear more Jeff Combs impressions of his own characters.
I would point out there is a baseball connection here. There was baseball on Captain Sisko's desk for 7 years. I
Mhm.
always love that. So
And Take Me Out to the Holosuite, one of the best episodes ever.
absolutely, I wish I were in it. I wish I were in that one.
Anyway,
Oh well.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, Jeff. We really appreciate it.
You guys are the best. Onward,
Thank you, Jeff.
and I'll be back.
Nice.
I hope I can come back onto your show here.
Absolutely.
Open
A+.
invite.
Yep.
Open invitation. Yep.
All right.
And everybody at
Great to
home,
see
we'll
you.
see you on the other side. So stick around on the 7th rule and follow Jeff on Twitter and tell him how incredible he was in this episode and all the others. And we do hope to see him on a future episode of any Paramount version of Star Trek. See you on the other
Dodged
side.
another bullet. I dodged another bullet.